Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. One of the things that we're going to do is this. If you and I want to see if we are developing noble moral characteristics, excellent akhlaq, the way that the Imam, the living Imam, would like us to have, we need to make sure we know what the definition of good akhlaq is according to Ahlul Bayt. We've got to make sure. What do they say? What are their definitions? So what we're going to do is, inshallah, we'll go over a definition by the sixth Imam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. One of the Muslims asked the Imam a question. He said that, what is the definition of good akhlaq? And the Imam told him three important characteristics. So three very important traits. We'll go over them inshallah one at a time. The first one, the Imam says, Talino janahak. He says you need to be humble. The first of the traits of a true believer that he mentions, the one who has good akhlaq, is that the believer is supposed to be humble. So that's number one. Number two, the sign of having good akhlaq. The Imam says this, وَتُطِيبُ كَلَامَكَ. Sweeten your words for other people. This is something else that we see. A person who has good akhlaq, you see it in their language, their choice of words. If the person has good akhlaq, they're not going to be swearing at other people, God forbid. They're not going to be harsh. There's some people, when you're around them, you don't feel encouraged. It's biting sarcasm, sharp tongue. They'll tell you your flaws. But do you feel encouraged? I feel, right? The Imam said what? You have to sweeten your words. Sweeten your words. Some people, they don't know how to do this. I remember hearing a story once. It's not a true story, inshallah. They said once, this guy, his wife, she was in front of a mirror. She's an elderly lady. So she's looking at herself in the mirror, and she said, when I look in the mirror, I see an old woman. I see graying hair. I see flabby arms. I'm not in shape. I want you to tell me something so I can feel good about myself. So her husband looked at her carefully, and then very softly said, your eyesight's very good. So that kind of an approach, that's not the sweet words, bringing people to the right path, right? For us as believers, we want to be over there, and our words are like that. They bring people to the right path. We sweeten our words. So actually, we're working on that good akhlaq. We're following the Islamic instructions. The Islamic instructions tell us what? That say good words to people. Sweeten the kalam was the word of the Imams. The Quran now, Surah Baqarah, verse number 83. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Say beautiful things to people. Say nice words to people. Now I want to mention something. Sometimes this can be a test for us also. Sometimes for me to say good words when I'm in public with others, that's something I can do. I can do that. That's easy. I can do that. When I'm around other people, I man my words. I try and say encouraging words. I'm professional in my dealings. Sometimes the sign that I don't have good akhlaq is when you see me with my family. Sometimes with my family I feel more comfortable. I let my guard down. And you've heard that hadith. This is one of the wonderful companions, a man named Sa'ad. Sa'ad was a companion that his story goes something like this. When he passed, when he died, the Prophet came and he personally overlooked his burial. In addition to that, the Prophet went and he came and they were carrying the janazah. The Prophet would carry on one side. Then he would go to the other side to carry on the other side. The Prophet went without his shoes. I think the Prophet also left his cloak. Then after that they went over and they buried him. The people said, what happened? He said, I did that because the malaika were doing that. 70,000 malaika were following the janazah of Sa'ad, and they were going without rida, without. So his mother is watching all of this. When his mother saw this, she's watching the Prophet bury him, Prophet taking her. Then she said, Ya Sa'ad, hani'an lakal jannah. Sa'ad, inshallah, paradise be sweet for you. And the Prophet said, don't say that. Don't speak definitely when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the people, he said that Sa'ad got a squeeze in the grave. And the people said, well, you just said you were following him. You're walking without shoes. This side. He says, He says that yes, Sa'ad, he was like this. Naam, innahu kana fi khuluqihi ma ahlihi su'a. he had bad akhlaq when it came to his family member. So some people, they can pass the test outside, akhlaq, smiling, right? But how am I with those who are closest to me? Do I guard my tongue then? That's the part we have to test ourselves. The hadith says that the best of you is the best of you with his family. خَيْرُكُمْ خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِهِ. We have hadith that tell us if we can use these sweet words in the family, what does it do for us? Right here. It says, Al-Qawlul Hasan. Right? Beautiful words. Al-Qawlul Hasan. It says, Yuthril Mal. It actually increases our wealth. Those people who, think about it, if I have a healthy home, not a dysfunctional home, a home where I get encouragement, I feel my best, my wife is telling me to trust in Allah, I'm telling her to trust in Allah, I'm interacting in a healthy way in my household, it's natural that I'd be more encouraged to go work, more creative than the person who's so stressed, so angry, so upset. Maybe I even end up having accidents on the road rage. Right? What does the hadith say? It says, Al-Qawlul Hasan yuthril mal wa yumnir rizq. It enhances our rizq. Wa yunsi'u fil ajal. It also causes a delay in one's death. Those people who are always sweet, think about it. How many people do you think who are always fighting with their families? So easy for them to have a heart attack. Right? They're screaming, fighting, shouting, how up and down. Right? As opposed to the person, right? So even it can lengthen the life. What else? وَيُحَبِّبُ إِلَى الْآلِ. It makes us beloved to our family. So it's another benefit that's there. So what happens is, now I want to make sure that I have that good akhlaq. One of the things the Ahlul Bayt teach us, they say that we're not supposed to speak when we're angry. When we're upset, even if I'm somebody who's careful with my akhlaq, I try to say the right things. But if you catch me when I'm angry, maybe I'll say something that later I regret. Right? So the Ahlul Bayt teaches us that when we're angry, that's the time we say no. We'll come back, we'll revisit it, we'll talk later, we'll continue the conversation. But right now, while I'm upset, maybe I'll say something that I regret. The difference between us and Western ideology, the Western lifestyle, we're told to sweeten our words. But you know, for us as believers, we sweeten our words, but then when we're with non-mahrams, then we're serious. We're pleasant, we're friendly, right? But go over and sweeten my words, flirt? No, from an Islamic point of view, that's again where we see the difference between us and the West. The last one that the Imam mentions, he says, وَأَن تَلْقَى أَخَاكَ بِبِشْرٍ حَسَنٍ. The last one the Imam mentions is that we meet our brothers with a pleasant demeanor. Meet our brothers with a pleasant demeanor. We're going over and speaking. Not that smiling is the exception. Some people are like that. Normally, you see the person, they're frowning, they're angry, they're upset. And then, one day, oh wow, subhanAllah, today you're... Right? Well, actually, the way that the believers are supposed to be is that the believers are pleasant, smiling, friendly, joking even. Inshallah, we have a little time, I'll mention some of the hadith that we have from the Ahlul Bayt. So, what happens is that again, when it comes to these things, and we want to test ourselves now and see, do we have that akhlaq that the Ahlul Bayt said? Right? Do we meet others with a pleasant demeanor? You know when the test comes? When we're going through difficulty. When we're tired, exhausted, spending a lot of time at work. Right? At those times when somebody goes over and then they test us, right? Those are times that you'll see, if I have good akhlaq, then I'll be able to maintain even in those difficult times.